Good afternoon, students. In this session, we are going to learn about what is REST framework in Django. That is, how can we implement REST API in Django? What is a REST? So, REST is a representation of state transfer which is used for building and communicating web services. So, REST consists of totally 6 methods, and here I have used only 2 methods, get method and post method. So get method is the most common method to retrieve the data from the database, and post method is used to insert the new records or to update the records in the database. Now, what is Django REST framework? So DRF is a package built on the top of Django to create a web APIs, that is application programming interfaces. Since Python object cannot send over the network, we need to translate the Django models into other formats like JSON, XML or PSON. So this type of conversion is known as serialization. That is, in order to implement the REST framework, we need to serialize the data in the models of Django. So I quickly open my Visual Studio Code. So before running to the REST API, first we are going to make some settings in settings.py file. Hence I opened my settings.py file. So here I have mentioned my database name as India, and also I am going to use REST underscore framework application name in installed apps. So by this I can implement the REST framework. Now I am going to open models.py file. So first in models.py file I am going to create my model. So here I am going to use a model name called students. So that is the table name is students. So in the table name I am going to create two fields, first name and last name, and I have clearly mentioned the field values and as well as the maximum length for first name and last name. So after first name and last name I have used one string constructor to return the first name and last name. Now, I am going to open admin.py file. In admin.py file, I am going to admin, that is my register my model name here, admin.site.register of students. And from models, I am going to import my model name also. Now, here I am going to create another new file called serializers.py file. So, which can be done by clicking on the application name and going to the option new file. So, in serializers.py file, which is used to represent the model data in JSON format and to convert the object instances, here I have imported serializers class from REST framework along with my model name also. And here I am going to create one class called student serializer, which will serialize the data which was given in the database. So here I have retrieved the value of first name and last name, and I am going to retrieve the meta information also from the database. And moreover, I am going to create two methods called create and update. Create to create the new records and update if at all the records are going to be updated. So in both the create and update, I am going to retrieve the values from the database. So here I have mentioned like this, so students.object.create of validate data. And also in the update also, I am going to use that instance variable to call the first name and last name. And finally, I am going to validate the data and finally going to save the data. Now, what is in views.py file? That is in application iPhone, that is views.py file. I am going to import the packages REST framework views for API view and response for the response and REST framework for the status. Along with my models also, I am going to import .serializers. I am going to import the class student serializer. Now here I am going to create my view. My view name is student view, which I am going to mention in urls.py file, and I am going to use the two functions that I already mentioned, get method and the post method. Get method is used to retrieve the data from the database. If it is success, the status was retrieved as success. If at all it is failure, the status was retrieved as failure. And the post method is used to insert the data into database. If the data was inserted successfully, the status will be retrieved as success with the HTTP value also. Otherwise, the error will be retrieved with bad request. So in this way, we are going to use the get method and post method in views.py file. Now I am going to open the urs.py file. In my application, I am going to mention the path as student view dot as underscore view. So this page will be opened whenever I am going to run the program. Now in urs.py file of the project, I am going to include my URL, that is iphone.urls. Now here I am going for the terminal, and I am going to break the previous connection. And I am going to type python manage.py make migrations. So make migrations command is very necessary to update the database. Since I already run previously, it was given out as no changes detected. Now I am going to type Python manage.py migrate to register my model in the database. Now I am going to type Python manage.py run server. And you can clearly see that server was started, and I'm going to just check my file of PHP MyAdmin, that is MySQL. So in PHP MySQL, here I have given my database name as India. So India, I'm going to open iPhone underscore students. You can clearly see that the model was created, and I already imported two files with the name Ram Pavan and as well as KBN and college. Now I am going to run the server file, and I'm going to press the enter, and you can clearly see that the REST framework was appeared with the values RAM and power as well as KBN and college. Now I'm going to insert the data from the backend. Let me say my first name is Sachin and my last name is Tendulkar. I'm going to insert it one. So after insertion, and I'm going to check whether the value is inserted or not. So let me insert this in this. So insert, once again Sachin Tendulkar, and I'm going to select go option, and you can clearly see that the value was inserted. Now I'm going to refresh this one. So I can refresh, you can clearly see that I have inserted multiple times. So multiple times the value was inserted. So in this way, REST framework will work. If at all we are going to enter the data from here, we can mention here the JSON file and select the option post button so that the value is inserted in the database. In this way, REST framework works in Django. Thank you.